All right, with the week off last week, that always makes it interesting. And, we stayed here, got some rest, and got some good workouts in, and kind of prepare for the stretch run, the last 8 games of the Big Ten, and then playoffs. So it was more of a rest up and mental type preparation for us. But watching the games in the rest of the Big Ten, I guess it couldn't have gone much more interestingly. And we're at a point now where 2 teams are at 29 points and then 3 are at 28 points. So a bit of a sprint to the finish here, and make things I think a lot of fun and exciting. And like I said, lots of time standing up here is that this is where we wanted to be at the end of the season, trying to play for a Big Ten championship. And our focus, as has always been, is on Friday night, and it's our next game. We can't play all 8 in one night, and that's the way we've approached it, and we'll approach it this week. But I know the guys are excited, and like I said, lots of good things happened to make it even more exciting last weekend.
Danton, Minnesota's probably the hottest team in the Big Ten, maybe even in the country, with a team that did pretty well against them just a month ago. How do you brace them for the changes, and what has been the catalyst for their biggest change?
Well, you know what, it's funny, I remember talking to their media guys before the game and saying that, I like their team, and I think their goaltending, both those guys have played well. Mo came in and had a shutout against us, and he's played pretty well lately. And they had a couple young defensemen, freshmen, that were kind of getting over the hump and starting to play real well. And but I think up front that the one line with Myers, Ranta, and McManus has really caught fire. And I think that you start getting that scoring, and the way the games are tight, when you get that secondary scoring, and as much as they are, that's really kind of put them over the top. But you know what, they've been real consistent. Bob's a great coach there, and he's got them playing the right way and playing hard on both sides of the puck. So you know what, it's you have good players, and guys are all buying in and playing the right way. It's tough to play against, and we saw that the weekend they were there. I thought there were 6 good periods of hockey, and they played well. We got to win, they got to win. But you're right, they're a hot team. I think that game here was their only loss they've had since Christmas, so we'll have our hands full there.
Dan, with every point so important these days, do you guys pay more attention to the shootout, like in practice, and getting a strategy in case you guys have to go to a shootout?
I wouldn't say more attention to it. I mean, you work on you do your breakaways. Joe, Coach Exter has the goalie reports and all that, but that is a facet of it, I guess. But there's a lot of things to work on. But that tends to be something that you can work on within all your other drills and as you're going through. And that's such a quick hitter too, because it's the way we do our shootouts. It's just first team that scores. You get one guy scores and one doesn't. It's over. So in terms of strategy and a long-term thing, hopefully your goalie makes a save and Patrick Kodorenko scores a goal. Hopefully that's how it works out. So not a ton of it, you know what I mean? You have to apportion the right amount of time, but you're right, those points are big. Probably more time on 4-on-4 and 3-on-3 and things like that in case those pop up in the course of the game.
Dan, one more thing. When you guys look at the last 8 games of the season, what do you think that the team has to do to improve just a little bit to be in potential to win the title?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's, we always stress that. We always look at that in terms of, hey, constantly getting better and where there's areas. And you never want to say, hey, we're set in this area. You always have to backtrack and re-loop and go over things that you've been doing. That's just part of the progression of the season. But, there's definitely things we've been working on lately, and that's, you look at the games we've had that we've lost in the last little bit. They're 1-0, 2-0 games with an open netter, 2-1, and just finding that little bit of extra scoring and spending some time with that. And over the last week, I was that where whether it's defensemen getting pucks on net or making a quick read, whether it's getting a guy in front of the net, just working your offensive zone, working on rebounds, working on our spacing in the offensive zone, and that's part of it. But also coming through, you establish your forecheck and trying to get some chances off the rush, the forecheck and offensive zone. And really, that's a big part. If we can find a way to manufacture another goal or two, that's when we win hockey games, and that's what playoff hockey is. So we spent a decent amount of time on that, and then without trying to forget about how well we've been doing defensively and our penalty kill and some of those things. And the power plays, it's been average, and we don't the way the game's being ref now, there's not a lot of chances in the game, but those are, big influential minutes. So we spent a decent amount of time, probably more time than usual on that here in the last little bit, just trying to get the guys enough reps and enough time to approximate what they would in a game when you're not getting a lot of power play reps.
Dan, with Rosberg, you said at media day that he was a guy that you thought had taken a step. Is it uncommon for a player to take that type of step late in his career? And how did he make it happen? How did you guys make it happen?
Yeah, well, and Jared's sometimes, yes, I would say overall that, if guys keep getting better, and that's what you want even going into your senior year, those incrementally are there, but he took a big one, and I think, again, his injury and surgery history kind of played a big role in it, and that's why he redshirted the 1 year, but he had gone a couple, even his junior career, a couple summers where he had surgery, and that takes away from working out and, maybe expanding some of those games, which lead, or parts of your game that leads to, success going forward. So I think that's where he's gotten a good break, is that he's been able to work out real well the last 2 or 3 summers, and that's kind of gave him the bump. And he's outstanding in the weight room, does a lot of work before and after practice, but if you take that away, that takes away from your ability to kind of keep getting better. And I think he's just kind of hit a groove on that, and like I say, he's put in the time, and now we're starting to see really what he can do.
And this is the first time your players have had a bye week at this point of the season when they can maybe look at the standings and start those dreams coming a little bit more clear. Am I mistaken about that? How have they coped with that so far?
Well, I think one thing that helps us in that area is that I know where the other coaches picked us, I know where the media picked us, but I also know where our own team did, and neither of those mesh up. I think that this isn't like, hey, it's February and what the hell are we doing in this position? I think our guys last spring felt we had a chance to be here, and our older guys talked about that, and we had a saying on the end of the wall heading out to the arena that was about work ethic and some some things like that, and not being denied and all that. And the older guys wanted to have something that talked more about winning. And I don't spend a lot of time talking about winning. I talk a lot of time about what it takes to be a winner and how hard you have to work and the things you have to do. And the winning tends to take care of itself. But the guys wanted that on there, and we went with Coach Izzo's, tough players win, and put that out there. So I think it's been in their mind. So if anything, I don't know if that makes it a little easier, but mentally attacking this part of the season, we don't have to change much. I mean, we're going to prepare. We're going to do some same things. I always tell them, hey, let the stress be on me. You guys need to show up, work hard, and do the things you guys have been doing. You should be comfortable playing. We've been playing 1-goal games all year. Every game, one team has their goalie pulled, or somebody's scoring an open net, or it's an overtime game. So you guys be comfortable, put the pressure on me, and you guys would show up, be great teammates, work hard and have fun, and good things will happen. So I think they're in a good spot. And they really haven't wavered much. These guys are going to go and work, and I can't tell you we're going to win every game the rest of the year, but I can tell you that these guys are going to be battle, and they're going to keep, if they're down, they're going to keep coming back, and if they're up, they're going to keep blocking shots and finishing checks, and they're going to play the right way. And this is where they've wanted to be, and it's a good step for our program, and we should enjoy it and have fun with it.
Having the opportunity to maybe watch some more games of other teams this weekend, what do you think that, maybe you've learned that your team does better than some of the other teams in the conference? And just, you mentioned it's going to be a fun maybe rest of the month, so what did you learn about the other teams?
Yeah, it was, and Deb took the brunt of that one. We watched a lot of hockey this weekend on the Big Ten Network and Big Ten Plus. We were able to catch all of them and kind of switching it out. I think the big takeaway, at least for us as a staff, and we will talk to the players about that today, is just how close everything is. There's not a lot of difference from Team 1 to Team 7 in the Big Ten, and if you have to do what you do really well, and you have to do just a little bit extra, and that's not just Friday and Saturday. That's the investment you put into being a winner, Sunday through Thursday. So I think that's probably the biggest thing. Just again, be comfortable with what we're doing, do it unusually well, and stick together. And I think they've kind of taken on that too. Not that if you start trying to do things that you can't do or that are way out of your game, that's when you start getting in trouble. So the great teams I've been around have been tremendously consistent, had a tremendous belief in what they did, and then they went out and did it. And I think that's mentally a great way to be going into this time of the year.
All set?
Thank you.